My name is Ken Faunce. I'm the chair of the Moscow Human Rights Commission, and I want to thank all of you for turning out tonight, especially on this smoky evening. And I'm glad everybody, or at least almost everybody, got the word that we moved from Friendship Square to here because of the smoke. So I was worried about that not everybody would hear. And so I want to thank you for coming. And this is an extremely important topic, and we need to show our support and solidarity. And at that point, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to introduce Audrey Faunce, who will start everything going.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. So this Defend DACA Vigil is the first of 2 of our Defend DACA events going on in our community this week. Sorry, I'm a little shorter than him. And these events are meant to educate all of us, but mainly allies, on how the Trump administration's announcement affects our community locally and nationally. This will be done through public dialogue, presentations, and silent reflections, both at this event and then at the rally that we will have this weekend. And so the rally that we are planning will happen on Sunday, September 10th, at 1 p.m. with speeches happening between 1:15 and 1:30. It will be happening at East City Park, and most of our speakers will be people from the communities most affected, and it is actually run by, our keynote speaker is an undocumented immigrant with DACA from in Bellingham, Washington, and he's going to come over here to speak to everyone. So this event is a little bit more informal and is meant to be a space of reflection and a place to show solidarity with those most affected by today's decision. I will first be discussing a little bit about today's announcement, how it affects all of us, and a review on what it means to be a good ally. This includes being an ally to immigrants, undocumented or not, DACA recipients or not, and those from mixed status families, as well as other marginalized communities. After this, we will have some comments from some other community members who would like to share their thoughts with you. And then after that, we're going to have a moment of silent reflection for you all to think about what you heard today, how you felt about the news, and what your role in the upcoming weeks are. Then I will bring us back to this space where people are welcome to have an informal dialogue with other attendees, to process today's events, get to know one another, and to learn from one another. And before I begin to talk about today's announcement, I feel like it is crucial for me to acknowledge publicly that I am not, have not, and will never be part of any group affected directly by Trump's decision today. My words come from a place of privilege as a white woman and as a naturalized citizen. I am speaking as an ally to other allies. I do not assume to know the fear and sadness impacting the immigrant and undocumented communities. I do not presume to tell them how to act or how to react to this news. My words are from one ally of this community to others. And as an ally, I will make mistakes, and my words will not be perfect. Please keep this in mind while listening to what I have to say. And I am always open to being called out. So please approach me after, send me a message on Facebook, call me out if I said anything that was outside of my lane to say, that was incorrect, that was offensive, or that I had no right to be talking about. So that I can learn how to use my privilege to better help these affected communities. So today, after a weekend of strategic suspense, Jeff Sessions announced an end to the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, DACA. This was a program created by the Obama administration. It is far from a perfect system, but it gave the ability to work and some protections to around 800,000 youth. Sessions announced that after today, there will be no more initial DACA applications. If someone hasn't applied for DACA, and they will no longer be able to. If someone did not renew their expired DACA and it's been more than a year, they will no longer be allowed to get DACA. Pending DACA applications are still being reviewed, however, meaning that people who have already applied will hopefully be granted this. They may still be approved. If someone's DACA expires on or before March 5th of 2018, they can renew it, but there is a deadline. Those whose DACA expires after that date will not be able to renew. DACA recipients with a valid work permit will continue to be able to work, and they will continue to be deferred under DACA until their DACA expires. The administration has given Congress 6 months to come up with a plan to protect the people made vulnerable by this decision. People all across the nation are asking those who can to contact their representatives and elected officials to advocate for those communities, and we are asking that you all do the same. There will be some more information on how to contact representatives in both Idaho and Washington on the event page, as well as the event page for the rally that will be posted tomorrow. So here in Moscow, Idaho, we do not have a large population of undocumented people, not as large as in certain areas of Washington or California or down south. But this does not mean that we should not be fighting for the safety of those throughout our state and nation, as well as those living in our community. As people with privilege who were born in the US and or who can vote, we must stand up and fight with our undocumented neighbors, including those without DACA. So I cannot speak directly upon what these communities need. That is for them to tell you. But I can tell you some elements of what kind of ally is needed in these moments. We need to be listening to others' experiences. This means believing the stories that we are told by members of those marginalized communities without putting on them the burden of proof. We should never expect our undocumented neighbors to tell us the emotional stories that they may have in order for us to want to help them or in order for us to listen. We also need to be constantly looking at where we stand and how we benefit where others may not. We need to be constantly searching for ways to educate ourselves on these issues. In these movements, it is especially important to follow the leadership of those from the community, since most often they are the ones that know what their community needs. We need to actively listen to what is needed and what is asked of us. This can be direct actions like calling your representatives or attending events like this one. It can also be having conversations with those around us and using our energy to educate our friends and family on how to help. It can also be listening to the reasoning behind certain actions, choices, and words. For example, calling someone an illegal immigrant is not furthering the cause. There's a reason that most of the community members often refer to themselves as undocumented. In addition, many DACA recipients do not like being called dreamers. This is definitely not the case for everyone, but there are many that believe that this gives the impression of the ideal or perfect immigrant, someone who contributes to the economy, who attends school, who excels, and who only does that for a society. This is not the case for many people within this community, and using that term can feel alienating to some. We must listen to what our loved ones and our neighbors are telling us. We must also look further than the narratives given by the media and administration. There is a push for defending DACA recipients because they contribute to our economy. And while this is often true, we should be defending them because they are humans who deserve to live with dignity and safety, not because they put money into America. There's also a narrative meant to vilify the parents of DACA recipients, saying that since they are the ones that brought them here without documentation, they are the ones to blame. We need to look further than that. It is not our place to judge on someone's reasons for coming here. It is not our place to judge the methods that they used, but rather to fight alongside them for the rights of DACA recipients without criminalizing and alienating other immigrant groups. These are but a few ways that we can all strive to be good allies to this community and others during these trying times. We need to keep this dialogue open, asking questions and learning constantly if we are really going to help anyone as a community. I hope that this advice didn't come off as a lecture or an implication that you all don't know how to be good allies already, because the fact that you are sitting here, the fact that you are showing support, the fact that you are here in solidarity shows me that you already know how to be good allies. These are just points on which I can talk as a white woman, as a US citizen, and these are points upon which we need to further our conversations in our community. And one last note before I end this part of my talk is that there are people of all nationalities, races, and ethnicities who are undocumented and who receive DACA. We should also be keeping these people in our minds and not just the Latinx communities who are often the faces portrayed in the media. So now I would like to introduce Mary Beth Rivetti from St. Mark's to say a few words.